Hey there, we are talking about legal names and why you still need to trademark your legal name. If you are conducting business under your legal name and you don't have a trademark, you need to get to work on that, because just because it's your legal name doesn't mean that you are legal to conduct business under that name. I know it may sound counterintuitive, but just by having your legal name, that only gives you the right to be a person under that name. Now, if somebody else comes along and they trademark your name, whether it's because they have that name or they just made up a name and it happened to be your name, well, then you may not be able to conduct business under that name. So let me give you an example. Calvin Klein, he obviously is a very famous fashion designer, but he is no longer the actual designer behind the brand. He trademarked the brand, and that is still a thing. But if he wanted to go out and start a new fashion line, anything that had to do with fashion or clothing, he could not do it as the brand Calvin Klein because he trademarked that name, and that is still being ran by another business. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but I get this objection all the time from people who are like, oh, I don't need a trademark because it's my legal name. I'm a photographer, I'm an online coach. It's my legal name, so I don't have to protect it. But that's not true. If you are conducting business, you need to protect the name. It doesn't matter if it's your legal name, your middle name, your mother's, brother's, sister's name. Like, if you're conducting business, it doesn't matter what the name is, it needs to be protected. Now, especially if you have a common name. So let's see, Ashley Smith. I'm sure that's a common name. She could be a photographer. Well, there could probably be 20 other photographers in the United States that are named Ashley Smith. Whether they're spelled the same or differently, they're still Ashley Smith, and only one of them has the right to conduct business under Ashley Smith as a photographer. Now, under trademark laws, there are 45 different classes of goods and services. There's 34 classes of goods, 11 classes of services. And whenever you file a trademark, you file under what class you're conducting business. So if you're a photographer, you protect that class. Now, if you're a photographer and you also educate, you're gonna file for both of those classes, so for photography and education. Now, maybe you're a photographer and you don't coach, but there is an online coach who trademarks the same name as you, then that means you can't coach anybody, you can't teach under your name. So these are all things you have to think about. That's why people who start business and like, oh, I'll just do it under my own name. You still have to do a trademark search. It doesn't matter that it's your given name. Just because it's your legal name doesn't mean you are legal to conduct business under that name. I know it may sound crazy, but this is the law, and you can be sued for conducting business under your own name. I'm not trying to freak anybody out. I promise I'm not trying to freak you out, but it's the law, and you have to be aware of these things, especially as a small business owner. Typically what happens, small business owners, they have their zone of genius and like, oh, I'm gonna make a business out of this, but they don't check everything. They're just like, oh, I'm good at doing this, so I'm gonna make money doing it. But they don't check the legal stuff. There's so many things they don't do that they should, and one of those is naming their business. Anytime you're naming a business, you have to run a trademark search, an official trademark search, not just checking Google, your social media, getting the domain name. That has zero bearing on whether you can have the trademark or not. And it has zero bearing on whether you're infringing on somebody else's trademark or not. So these are all reasons why you have to first run the trademark search, an official comprehensive trademark search, which is done through an attorney. And then second, you have to trademark your name because you don't want somebody else to come along and start conducting business under the same type of industry, same classes of goods or services, and then it causes confusion amongst consumers. Because if you have a customer that comes to you that thinks it's the other person, that is 100% trademark infringement, and somebody can be sued over that. So you want to make sure that you're protected. if you don't have the money to trademark, you want to run the search to make sure that you're not infringing on anybody, to make sure nobody's infringing on you. And all that's done through an attorney's comprehensive search. So get all that done. Stop objecting to a trademark just because you're doing business under your legal name. Because again, just because it's your given legal name doesn't mean that you are legal to conduct business under that name. Now, if you like this video, if you found it useful, please leave a comment, share it with your friends. If you know somebody that is conducting business under their own name, definitely share this with them. I know this is going to just be jaw-dropping for some people because they can't wrap their heads around the fact that they may not be able to legally conduct business under their own legal name. But if you know somebody, share it with them, enlighten them, let them know how important this stuff is, because you don't want them to have to rebrand. So yeah, let me know what you think. I hope you liked this. I will see you guys next time.